Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we're taking a deep dive into mentorship, but we're going to kind of flip the script a little bit.
Yeah, flipping the script, exactly. It's not just about, climbing that career ladder.
Right.
This deep dive is going to be about the unexpected benefits for both sides of the mentorship equation, the mentor and the mentee. We're going to uncover how those powerful connections can form in the most surprising ways.
Well, I love that. And our source for this, a really interesting interview with Deborah Heiser. She's an applied developmental psychologist and founder of the Mentor Project.
Yeah, and you can find that interview on the Diary of a Dyslexic Strategist podcast.
Okay, so to start us off, can you just set the stage a little bit? What exactly is the Mentor Project, and what makes it so different from just like your typical mentorship program?
So the Mentor Project connects top achievers. I'm talking astronauts, artists, entrepreneurs, you name it, with students of all ages. And get this, they do it for free. But here's the big twist. Deborah designed this project to prioritize the needs of the mentors.
Now, that is surprising. I feel like usually the focus is all on the mentee. What's the mentee going to get out of it? What are they going to get?
Exactly. But Deborah recognized that these highly successful individuals often crave a way to give back and to make a lasting impact.
Yeah.
They want to share their wisdom, but they might not have the time or know where to start. So the Mentor Project gives them that outlet.
So it's almost like tapping into this human desire to leave a legacy.
Absolutely. It's this act of what psychologists call generativity.
Yeah.
This really drives people, especially in midlife and beyond, to contribute to the next generation.
Yeah.
And by addressing this need in the mentors, it creates like this ripple effect of positivity for everyone involved.
I love that. It's like a win-win situation built right into the system. So how did Deborah even arrive at this unique approach? Was there like a specific aha moment for her?
There was. So Deborah spent years researching the downsides of aging, things like, depression, Alzheimer's. But at a dinner, someone challenged her and said, what about the good things that come with aging?
I like that.
Right. And that question completely shifted her perspective.
It's like she was only looking at half the picture.
Exactly. She went back to the research and discovered that, while yes, physical abilities might decline with age, emotional well-being actually tends to increase.
Interesting.
And when you combine that with the drive for generativity that we were talking about, it becomes clear that older adults have so much to offer.
Okay, so she realized the potential was there, but how did she land on mentorship as the vehicle for tapping into that potential?
So Deborah interviewed 45 people from all walks of life. Successful business people, grandparents, retirees, you name it. And this common thread emerged. They all emphasized how important mentorship was in finding meaning and purpose later in life.
It makes you wonder if, as a society, we underestimate the importance of mentorship.
Yeah.
We think about it as career advice, but maybe it's so much more profound than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. At its core, mentorship is about human connection. It's about sharing wisdom. It's about making a difference.
Right.
And those needs, it seems, only intensify as we age.
Okay, so it sounds like Deborah's own life experiences have really informed like the development of the Mentor Project. Did she talk about any early influences that kind of shaped her perspective on all this?
She did. She talked about her grandfather, who was president of the Des Moines NAACP.
Right.
Now, this was in a predominantly white area, so he faced a lot of prejudice for his work in integrating the city.
Wow. So that must have been incredibly challenging.
It was. And Deborah often accompanied him on errands, and she witnessed firsthand the discrimination that he endured. People refused to serve them. They made cruel remarks.
Oh, that's just awful.
It was rough.
How did he handle that? How did he handle such blatant racism?
He handled it with incredible grace and wisdom. Deborah recalled that, on their car rides home, her grandfather would often point out the people that they pass on the street, and he'd tell her their stories.
Oh.
He would talk about their struggles, their resilience, their hidden strengths.
So he was choosing to focus on kind of understanding rather than letting that negativity win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most important lesson that he imparted to her was this. You can never truly know a person's story until you get to know them. He taught her to look beyond appearances and to see the value in every individual.
Wow. What a powerful message. And I mean, that is so relevant to mentorship.
Right.
It's about like recognizing potential and connecting on a deeper level, regardless of background or differences.
You got it. That lesson became really foundational to Deborah's work with the Mentor Project. It's all about creating a space where those deeper connections can flourish.
And speaking of differences, Deborah also talked about her experiences raising her son, who was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia. How did that shape her understanding of mentorship, especially when it comes to learning and development?
So this is where it gets really interesting. Early on, Deborah and her husband saw some of their son's traits, like paying his brother to do his homework, as like signs of entrepreneurial spirit.
Right, like he's going to be a go-getter.
Yeah, totally. But those same traits created challenges in, the traditional school environment.
So what they saw as strengths were almost perceived as weaknesses in a system that wasn't really designed for his way of thinking.
Exactly. He got in trouble for being distractible, for having a desk full of elaborate paper airplanes. He struggled to keep up because homework took him like twice as long as other kids.
I can see how that would be so frustrating, both for him and for Deborah.
Yeah, and Deborah, really had to fight for him to get the support that he needed.
Yeah.
And while it wasn't easy, her son ended up developing incredible coping skills, a strong sense of empathy, and get this amazing interpersonal skills.
So he was forced to adapt, and in doing so, he developed this unique set of strengths.
Exactly. He essentially went through boot camp for life, learning to navigate a world that wasn't always accommodating.
Wow. Yeah, I bet those interpersonal skills are a huge asset now.
Oh, for sure. And, it's not just about his future career, but he's also incredibly self-aware and mature for his age. And a lot of that is because he had to grapple with these challenges so early on.
Right. Okay, so we've seen how Deborah's personal journey has shaped her approach to mentorship. Now let's talk about the matching process itself at the Mentor Project. So she's very vocal about her rejection of automated systems. Why is that?
Deborah believes that successful mentorship hinges on this genuine human connection. And she calls those automated matching systems set it and forget it.
Right.
And believes that they just can't capture the nuances of what makes a good mentor-mentee pair.
I can see why, especially when you factor in neurodiversity. It's not like you can plug in a few traits and expect a computer to really understand those complexities.
Exactly. And so Deborah, she really emphasizes understanding the core of individuals, their values, their passions, their communication styles. And she prioritizes matching people who would genuinely enjoy having a conversation with each other, regardless of their background or learning differences.
So it's about creating the space where people feel seen and heard and respected for who they truly are, not just what a computer algorithm thinks they should be or need.
You nailed it. And that's what makes Deborah's approach so unique. It's about fostering genuine connections that go beyond those, surface level compatibility and really allow individuals to thrive.
So it's not just about finding a mentor with the right resume, but about finding someone you connect with, someone who gets you right.
Precisely. And that's why Deborah actually encourages people to think about having multiple mentors. It's about building a network of support, not just relying on one person for everything.
So instead of looking for the one, you're looking for your mentorship dream team.
Exactly. And don't just, limit yourself to those traditional mentor-mentee relationships.
Right.
Look for mentors everywhere in your family, in your community, at work. Everyone has something valuable to teach.
Right.
And learning can happen in the most unexpected places.
I love that. So now Deborah also brought up this concept of the power of inefficient learning, and I have to admit that sounds counterintuitive. What did she mean by that?
Well, she was actually talking about her own teaching style.
Okay.
She embraces inefficiency by offering multiple learning options like notes, visuals, videos, you name it. And she does this to cater to diverse needs and learning styles.
So it's recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning.
Right.
And embracing that everyone absorbs information differently.
Exactly.
Okay.
And she actually relates this directly to mentorship.
Oh.
The Mentor Project encourages this flexibility, different ways of communicating, to accommodate those individual preferences.
Right.
Because what works for one person might not work for another.
And it makes me think about how much we prioritize efficiency these days.
Yeah.
Always looking for the quickest path to success.
Right.
But maybe there's value in slowing down, embracing those different approaches, and focusing on individual needs. Maybe that is the key to unlocking true potential.
Yeah, that's a brilliant insight. What we perceive as inefficient might actually be more effective in the long run.
Right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, way up.
From the origins of the Mentor Project to Deborah's unique approach to matching and her emphasis on, the power of human connection. So where does the Mentor Project stand today? What's their impact been like?
Well, in just 5 years, the Mentor Project has achieved remarkable reach. They're active in over 5 countries, and they've impacted over 100,000 students worldwide.
Wow, that's incredible.
And they've maintained this high standard of quality with, like, over 100 highly vetted mentors.
Wow. That's amazing. And so it's not just about those one-on-one pairings either, right? They also host events like Fridays with Fred, which brings the mentors together for what they call lateral mentorship and networking. Wait, Fridays with Fred, that sounds fun. What goes on there?
So it's a weekly gathering where mentors can connect with each other. They can share their expertise. They can even collaborate on new projects.
Oh, I like that.
Deborah shared some pretty inspiring examples of what's come out of those gatherings.
Like what? Give me the details. I'm intrigued.
Well, for instance, a filmmaker and a labor lawyer met at a Fridays with Fred and ended up co-founding a nonprofit together.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about finding synergy in unexpected places.
Right.
What else?
Well, in another case, a mentor actually leveraged his connections from Fridays with Fred to help his mentee land a cybersecurity job.
So it's like this ripple effect of support that extends like far beyond the initial mentor-mentee pairings.
Exactly. And it all goes back to Deborah's core philosophy, right? Invest in the mentors and everyone benefits.
This has been so eye-opening. I am so impressed by what the Mentor Project has achieved and how they've just completely reframed my understanding of mentorship.
Me too. It's not just about, climbing that ladder. It's about human connection, personal growth, and making a difference that lasts.
Okay, so for our listener out there, what's the call to action? How can they get involved with the Mentor Project?
The easiest way is to visit their website, mentorproject.org.
Okay.
And there you can explore becoming a mentee, a mentor, or even a supporter.
And I would add, even if you're not looking for a mentor right now, think about how mentorship could benefit your life, personally or professionally. Could you be a mentor to someone else?
That's a great point. We all have something valuable to offer. And even informal mentorship can make a world of difference.
What I find fascinating is how much Deborah's emphasis on the mentor's needs aligns with the idea of generativity we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's like she's cracked the code to unlocking that human desire to make a difference.
Right. It makes you wonder why more organizations don't approach mentorship this way.
Right. Maybe it's a matter of perspective. We often focus so much on the mentee, career guidance, skills, networking, but we forget about the deeper needs of the mentor.
And as we've heard, those deeper needs are incredibly powerful motivators.
Absolutely. So Deborah's approach really flips the script and recognizes that by fulfilling the mentor's desires for connection, purpose, and legacy, you actually create a much more sustainable and impactful mentorship ecosystem.
I love that.
Okay, so zooming out a bit, what does this tell us about, the future of mentorship?
Well, I think it points towards a shift away from that transactional model, what can I get, and towards something that's more collaborative and purpose-driven.
So less about climbing the ladder and more about kind of building something together.
Exactly. And this shift aligns with some of the broader societal trends that we're seeing around purpose-driven work, social impact, and intergenerational collaboration.
It's almost like mentorship is evolving from a ladder to a web, connecting people across ages, backgrounds, and industries in ways that benefit, everyone involved.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Thanks.
It really highlights how mentorship can be this powerful force for positive change, not just within organizations, but in society as a whole.
This brings up an important question, though. How can we as individuals actually apply this in our own lives? Because it's easy to be inspired by the Mentor Project.
Yeah.
But how do we actually translate that into action?
Well, I think the first step is to shift our mindset. So instead of viewing mentorship as a one-way street, start thinking about it as a reciprocal relationship.
Okay.
Where both parties have something to gain.
So even if I'm the one seeking mentorship, I should be thinking about how I can contribute to that relationship and support my mentor's growth.
Exactly. And that could be, as simple as offering a fresh perspective, sharing your own experiences, or even just being a good listener.
And on the flip side, if I want to be a mentor, I should be thinking about how I can fulfill those deeper needs for connection and purpose.
Yeah. Ask yourself, what unique value can I bring to this relationship?
Right.
And how can I help my mentee thrive while also finding fulfillment in the process?
So it's about finding that sweet spot where both the mentor and the mentee feel empowered and supported.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And remember Deborah's emphasis on that personal connection. Don't just focus on finding a mentor with the right credentials.
Right.
Look for someone that you genuinely connect with, someone who shares your values, someone who inspires you to be your best self.
So we've got the mindset shift, we've got the focus on reciprocity and the importance of personal connection. Any other practical tips for like our listener who wants to embrace this new approach to mentorship?
Yeah, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Mentorship doesn't have to be formal or structured.
Right.
It can happen organically through conversations, collaborations, shared experiences.
So it's about being open to learning from anyone and everyone.
Precisely. Remember, Deborah said, if you look to your left or to your right, you're looking at a potential mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in your life right now has knowledge or skills that you can learn from.
That's so empowering.
Right.
It means mentorship opportunities are all around us if we just open our eyes to them.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of those informal mentorship moments. They can be just as impactful as a structured program, especially when they're based on genuine connection and shared values.
It's really striking how Deborah's personal journey kind of mirrors the essence of the Mentor Project. She faced this challenge raising a neurodivergent child in a system that wasn't always supportive, and she turned it into something so positive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a testament to the power of turning, personal struggles into these opportunities for growth and positive change. And Deborah's story really reminds us that our challenges can actually become our greatest teachers, shaping our perspectives, leading us to make a real difference in the world.
Okay, so let's bring this all home for our listener. What's the one thing that they should walk away thinking about? Maybe something we haven't explicitly discussed yet.
I think it's this. Mentorship is a lifelong journey. It's not a destination, but an ongoing process of learning, growing, and connecting with others.
So even if we've had mentors in the past, or we are currently mentoring someone, there's always more to discover and more ways to, evolve our approach.
Exactly. And that evolution might involve seeking out new mentors, becoming a mentor yourself, or simply recognizing those mentorship moments that happen organically, in our daily interactions.
So it's almost like Deborah's grandfather's lesson about getting to know people's stories. We never know where we might find mentorship or who we might inspire along the way.
Beautifully put.
Okay.
And I think that's a perfect note to end on. So let's encourage our listener to reflect on their own mentorship journey.
Yeah.
Who are the mentors that have shaped their lives, and how can they, pay it forward and become a source of support and inspiration for others?
I love that. So to our listener, we leave you with a challenge. Embrace the power of mentorship, both in seeking it out and in offering it to others. You never know what ripple effects it might create.
And if you're feeling inspired by Deborah's story and the Mentor Project, head over to their website, mentorproject.org, to explore all the ways you can get involved.
We hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective on mentorship and its incredible potential to transform lives. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep diving deep.
What I find so fascinating is that Deborah doesn't shy away from talking about the struggles her son faced.
Right.
Being in a traditional school system.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just a passing mention. She really dove deep into how those experiences shaped her understanding of learning and development.
It definitely seemed like those challenges had, a profound impact on her, both as a mother and an advocate for kids who learn differently.
Right. It's like those difficulties forced her to confront the limitations of a system that wasn't designed to, accommodate different learning styles.
Right.
She talked about how her son was often punished for behaviors that stemmed from his ADHD and dyslexia, rather than being supported and understood.
And that must have been so frustrating for both him and for Deborah.
Oh, absolutely.
It sounds like she really had to become his champion to make sure he wasn't being penalized for simply learning in a different way.
She did, yeah. She had to navigate a system that, wasn't always welcoming to those differences, but it also made her keenly aware of how crucial it is to have mentors who are sensitive to individual needs,
right,
and who can adapt their approach accordingly.
It makes me think that good mentorship is less about fitting a square peg into a round hole, and more about recognizing that there are many different shapes of pegs and holes out there.
Exactly, and that sometimes you need to find a mentor who can help you carve out a space that fits you perfectly.
I love that. Okay, so backing up a bit, Deborah also talks about this concept of inefficient learning as a positive thing, and I'll admit that sounds a bit counterintuitive at first.
It does.
Can you unpack that for us?
Sure. So Deborah actually uses this phrase to describe her own teaching style.
Okay.
So she embraces inefficiency by providing students with multiple learning options, notes, visuals, videos, you name it, to really cater to their diverse needs.
So it's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning.
Exactly.
What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay.
Absolutely. And she applies this same philosophy to the Mentor Project.
Okay.
So they encourage that flexibility in communication styles and methods because they recognize that different people learn and connect in different ways.
Right.
And what might seem inefficient on the surface can actually lead to much deeper understanding in the long run.
It makes me think about how much our culture prioritizes speed and efficiency.
Yeah.
Like we're always pushing for the fastest route to success, but maybe there's value in slowing down, embracing different approaches, and focusing on individual needs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the key to unlocking true potential.
Right. Maybe what we perceive as inefficient is actually more effective because it allows for, like, deeper engagement and a more personalized learning experience.
Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of Deborah's approach, let's shift gears and talk about the Mentor Project itself.
Yeah.
What's the impact been like so far?
So the Mentor Project has achieved remarkable reach in a relatively short amount of time.
Okay.
They're active in over 5 countries, and they've impacted more than 100,000 students worldwide.
Wow.
And it's all happened in just 5 years.
That's incredible. And they've managed to scale while still maintaining that high level of quality, right?
Yes.
With over 100 highly vetted mentors.
Exactly. And they're not just focused on those one-on-one pairings either.
Right.
They've also created opportunities for mentors to connect with each other through events like Fridays with Fred.
Hold on. Fridays with Fred. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so Fridays with Fred is this weekly gathering where mentors can come together for lateral mentorship and networking. It's a chance for them to share their expertise, bounce ideas off each other, and even collaborate on new projects.
So it's like mentorship squared, mentors mentoring mentors.
Exactly. And Deborah really believes in creating a supportive community for mentors. And Fridays with Fred has become a hub for that.
I like that.
And she even shared a few stories about how these gatherings have led to, like, amazing things.
Ooh, give me the details. What kind of amazing things are we talking about?
Well, in one case, a filmmaker and a labor lawyer met at a Fridays with Fred event, and they ended up co-founding a nonprofit organization together.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. They realized that they had these complementary skills, this shared passion for social justice.
Right.
And decided to join forces.
That's incredible. What else?
Well, in another instance, a mentor was actually able to leverage his connections from Fridays with Fred to help his mentee secure a job in cybersecurity.
So it's like this ripple effect of support that extends far beyond those initial mentor-mentee pairings.
Precisely. And it all goes back to Deborah's philosophy. Invest in the mentors, and everyone benefits.
This has been awesome. I am so impressed by what the Mentor Project has accomplished and how they've just totally reframed my understanding of mentorship.
Me too. It's so much more than just career advice.
Right.
It's about human connection, it's about personal growth, and it's about making a difference that lasts.
Speaking of making a difference, I'm curious to hear more about what Deborah's son is up to these days.
Yeah.
You know, she mentioned that he's considering pursuing psychology.
Yes.
Like his mom. That seems fitting given everything he's been through.
I agree. It sounds like he's turned those early challenges into, like, a real source of strength and empathy. He's learned to navigate a world that wasn't always designed for his way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I bet that gives him such a unique perspective on human behavior and development.
You know, it's really striking how Deborah's personal journey kind of mirrors the essence of the Mentor Project.
Yeah.
You know, she faced this challenge raising a neurodivergent child in a system that wasn't always supportive, and she turned it into this force for good.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the power of turning personal struggles into those opportunities for growth and positive change.
Yeah.
And Deborah's story reminds us that our challenges can actually become our greatest teachers, shaping our perspectives, leading us to make a real difference in the world.
Okay, so let's bring this all home for our listener.
Okay.
What's the one thing that they should walk away thinking about? Maybe something we haven't explicitly discussed yet.
I think it's this. Mentorship is a lifelong journey.
Okay.
It's not a destination, but an ongoing process of learning, growing, and connecting with others.
So even if we've had mentors in the past or we are currently mentoring someone, there's always more to discover.
Yeah.
More ways to, like, evolve our approach.
Exactly. And that evolution might involve seeking out new mentors, becoming a mentor yourself, or simply recognizing those mentorship moments that happen organically in our daily interactions.
Right.
It's really about staying open to the possibilities and recognizing that we never stop learning and growing.
And it all circles back to Deborah's grandfather's lesson. You can never know a person's story until you get to know them.
Right.
We never know where we might find mentorship or who we might inspire along the way.
Beautifully put. And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
So let's encourage our listener to reflect on their own mentorship journey.
Okay.
Who are the mentors that have shaped their lives?
Mm.
And how can they pay it forward?
Right.
And become a source of support and inspiration for others?
I love that. So to our listener, we leave you with this. Embrace the power of mentorship, both in seeking it out and in offering it to others.
Yes.
You never know the ripple effects it might create.
And if you're feeling inspired by Deborah's story and the Mentor Project, head over to their website, mentorproject.org, to explore the many ways you can get involved.
We hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective on mentorship and its incredible potential to transform lives. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep diving deep.
We've talked a lot about that direct mentor-mentee relationship.
Right.
But Deborah also highlights the importance of mentors connecting with each other, what she calls lateral mentorship.
Right. It's not just about that top-down flow of knowledge from mentor to mentee.
Exactly.
Deborah recognizes the value of mentors, learning from and supporting each other.
Yeah.
And that's where things like, Fridays with Fred come in.
That's right.
So we touched on Fridays with Fred earlier, but I'm really curious to hear more about the tangible outcomes.
Yeah.
What kind of impact has this had on the mentors themselves?
So Deborah shared some amazing stories. For example, there was this filmmaker and a labor lawyer who met at a Fridays with Fred gathering.
Okay.
And they discovered that they had these complementary skills and a shared passion for social justice. And guess what? They ended up co-founding a nonprofit organization together.
Wow. That's incredible. So Fridays with Fred is not just networking. It's about sparking real collaboration and innovation.
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of bringing those diverse minds together.
Right.
And Deborah believes that when mentors connect with each other, they not only expand their own knowledge, but they also create this ripple effect of positive change that goes way beyond just the individual level.
It's almost like they're forming this collective brain trust.
Yeah.
Where everyone benefits from the shared wisdom and experience.
Exactly. And it just reinforces the idea that mentorship is a two-way street, right?
Right.
Even the most accomplished individuals can learn and grow from connecting with others.
It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that once you've reached a certain level of success, you've made it, you don't need mentorship anymore.
Right.
But Deborah's approach really reminds us that learning is a lifelong journey and that there's always value in seeking out diverse perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And Fridays with Fred provides that space for mentors to do just that, to step outside their comfort zones,
Right.
connect with people from different backgrounds, and really challenge their own assumptions.
This whole deep dive has just completely shifted my perspective on mentorship. It's not just about climbing the career ladder.
Right.
It's about personal growth. It's about human connection. And it's about making a meaningful impact on the world.
Yeah, me too. And I think Deborah's story is so inspiring.
Yeah.
It shows us that we all have the potential to be mentors.
Right.
And that even small acts of guidance and support can have this ripple effect that we may never fully comprehend.
So for our listener out there, what's the one key takeaway that you hope they'll remember from this deep dive?
I think it's this. Mentorship is a gift. It's a gift that we can give to others and a gift that we can receive.
Right.
And like any gift, the more we share it, the more abundant it becomes.
Beautifully said. So let's encourage our listener to embrace the power of mentorship.
Yeah.
Whether it's seeking out a mentor, becoming a mentor themselves, or just recognizing those mentorship moments that happen organically in everyday life.
Yeah.
Let's make mentorship a core part of our personal and professional growth.
Absolutely. And if Deborah's story and the Mentor Project have resonated with you, we encourage you to visit their website at mentorproject.org.
Okay.
To explore the many ways that you can get involved.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to dive deeper into the world of mentorship. Yeah. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep diving deep.